We live in a world that often wants to label and categorize, especially when it comes to our internal experiences. Anxiety, a word loaded with negative connotations, often gets painted as a disease, a weakness, something to be eradicated. But what if we shifted our perspective? What if instead of viewing anxiety as an enemy to be vanquished, we saw it as a messenger, a signal flare illuminating a path toward deeper understanding? Anxiety, in its purest form, is a natural human response to stress, uncertainty, or perceived threat. It's a primal mechanism, hardwired into our being, designed to keep us safe. Think about it. Our ancestors facing down a saber-toothed tiger experienced the same physiological responses we do when faced with a challenging presentation or a difficult conversation. Their heart raced, their breath quickened, their senses heightened, all in service of survival. The problem arises when we label anxiety as inherently bad, something to be avoided at all costs. This creates a sense of shame, a fear of being perceived as weak or incapable. We start to silence our anxiety, push it down, and pretend it doesn't exist. But just like a physical wound, ignoring the signs of internal struggle only allows the problem to fester and grow. Imagine this. You're about to give a big presentation. You feel those familiar butterflies in your stomach, your heart thumps a little faster, and your palms sweat. Your immediate reaction might be, "Oh no, not now, I can't be anxious." But what if, instead, you paused and asked, "What is my anxiety trying to tell me?" Perhaps it's highlighting the importance of this presentation, urging you to prepare thoroughly. Maybe it's drawing attention to a fear of judgment or a need for validation. Whatever the message, anxiety is rarely random. It's usually rooted in something deeper, something worthy of our attention. Instead of silencing or numbing these feelings, what if we leaned into them with curiosity and courage? What if we treated our anxiety with the same compassion and understanding we would offer a loved one struggling with their own internal battles? This doesn't mean letting anxiety control our lives, but rather acknowledging its presence and choosing to engage with it in a healthy, productive way. For many, the first instinct when faced with anxiety is to avoid it altogether. We might self-medicate with distractions, substances, or busyness, anything to keep those uncomfortable feelings at bay. But true freedom comes not from avoiding discomfort, but from developing a compassionate and courageous relationship with it. One powerful way to befriend our anxiety is through mindfulness. This involves paying attention to our thoughts, feelings, and bodily sensations without judgment. By simply observing our anxiety, noticing where we feel it in our bodies, and acknowledging its presence, we take away some of its power. Another helpful approach is to reframe our thinking. Instead of viewing anxiety as a sign of weakness, we can choose to see it as a catalyst for growth. Every time we face our fears, we expand our capacity for courage and resilience. Living with anxiety can be challenging, but it's important to remember that we are not alone. Millions of people around the world experience anxiety, and it does not define us. In fact, some of the most creative, compassionate, and successful individuals have learned to embrace their anxiety as a source of strength. The key is to shift our focus from eradication to understanding, from avoidance to acceptance. This doesn't mean we won't experience anxiety, but it does mean we can learn to navigate it with greater ease and grace. By listening to the whispers of our anxiety, treating ourselves with kindness and compassion, and developing healthy coping mechanisms, we can transform this often misunderstood emotion into a powerful catalyst for personal growth and self-discovery. Remember, embracing our imperfections, anxiety included, is what makes us human, and it's often in those messy, uncomfortable spaces where we discover our greatest strength and resilience.